Welcome back, writers. Now that we've done a writing burst, I hope that you were able to get some ideas flowing and maybe even decide on what you'd like to start your new project on. A lot of times we stare at blank pages and that keeps us stuck for days and weeks and months and years. Well, don't worry. I'm glad you're back. Here at Curriculum Cafe, we are talking all about writing, and all writers are welcome. So you could be working on your 10th book. You could be a beginner starting on your very first book. You could be someone who just likes to journal. You could be someone who just makes a lot of to-do lists. You could be a reader, somebody who just likes to read everything that we put out as writers. So everyone here is welcome. I wanted to talk a little bit today about writing about what you know. So if you're here and you are not sure where to get started, I'm glad you're here. You're in the right space. Welcome. I'm Dr. Ebony. I am the author of 12 books for young children and one young adult book called Sellout. That was my first novel baby years ago. I'm also a writing professor and a writing coach. I've spent most of my career focusing on writing. I was a former journalist. I worked at a daily and a weekly newspaper when I was fresh out of college. And I just love talking about writing, and I love writing. Sometimes talking about writing is easier than the actual writing. So welcome to Curriculum Cafe. So if you are in a place where you know that you have a story that you want to write and you're not sure where to get started, I have a couple of recommendations on that could potentially help you. Um, I have written mostly biographies, nonfiction. When I was asked to write about Katherine Johnson, I was super excited. She's one of NASA's human computers, as they called them back in the day. She was a mathematician, Black woman. I was so excited to write about Katherine Johnson. I knew a little bit about her work and about her life story, but I needed to do some more research. So my first recommendation is to accept projects and to start writing on topics that you know about. It makes it a little easier to begin your project if you can jot down some ideas, some things that you already know about the topic. Just start brainstorming, create some word bubbles, create a list of facts that you know on the topic that you're interested in writing about. It's recommended that you go and do more research, that you ask questions, you do a little bit of digging, add to your existing knowledge, your previous knowledge, but start with what you know. That's going to help you get started. A lot of times writing is about getting started and figuring it out along the way, to be honest. You don't have to have all the answers when you first sit down. Even when you're writing creatively, the story evolves and changes all the time. So my first tip, write about what you know, get comfortable with that information, and that'll help you get started. My next piece of advice is to not only write about what you know, but jot down as much as you can that you already know. And then that will help you later as you begin to package the information in a way that you would like to share. Like, do you want to write a children's book? Do you want to write an essay? Do you want to submit to an academic journal? Like, write as much information down as you possibly can that you already know. That helps you start. That's a good starting place for you to do some research, and it will help you decide how you want to package your writing and share your writing with others. Okay, so write about what you know and write down as much that you can, as much as you know on the topic. My third tip that you'll probably hear me say quite often, just get started. It does not have to be right. It does not have to be wrong. It does not have to look nice. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. It doesn't have to be polished writing. This is just to get your ideas down. Just start. It's one of the reasons we do writing bursts. It's one of the reasons we use prompts. It's one of the reasons we give challenges. It doesn't have to always look pretty. It doesn't have to always be share ready. Just start. Just start. We'll talk about finishing later. That's the other tough part, but just starting. So you have an idea in mind, right? I'm recommending that you, one, start with what you know. What do you know on the topic? Like when I started with Katherine Johnson, I knew she was a mathematician. I knew she loved math. I knew she had a loving family. I knew that she traveled a little bit as a young girl, and I knew that she ended up working at NASA. That's it. I wrote it down. I wrote as much as I possibly could, and I just started. And that gave me a place to let me look into NASA's records. Let me look into her family life. Let me look into the fact that she loved math. What did that actually look like? I'll link the title of the book below in the description of the video. But I started with what I knew. Okay, so if you get a writing assignment or if you have an idea, start with what you know. And then write down as much information as you possibly can. It may sound foreign, it may be super familiar. Sometimes we just need the reminder, and that's okay too. Sometimes it's just like, you know what, let me take a step back. This does not have to look, as perfectly as I want it to. Remove the stressor, just start writing, just jot it down. Okay. I heard something interesting. Um, you know, I read a lot and I see a lot of information about writing. So let's talk about what I've saw in the news, writing in the news today or this week. I watched a movie by Tyler Perry. Some of you may be watching it on Netflix this week. And there has been a critique of his writing over the years. He is not into writing rooms. He's not into sharing writing responsibilities. He writes everything, he produces everything, he casts everything. It's kind of his show, right? And so those of us who are consuming his work have opinions, right? He's very successful. He writes and can package what sells. He's by most people's definitions, he's a success. He's a successful writer, right? If you are a writing critic or you are looking specifically at his writing growth and development over the years, you may use other words or other ways of describing him, right? I have no critique. I do always recommend writing growth. I always recommend taking a look at your writing and seeing how you can improve and grow with your craft, right? So I found it interesting that he basically, I'm paraphrasing, said to quiet all of the noise. Don't worry about the critics. Don't worry about people who are pulling you from your vision of how you want your creative work to be. So my feelings on that are twofold. I agree with him to a certain extent. I think that if you let too many voices distract you or delay you, that you could be pulled away from your assignment, away from your writing. On the flip side, if you are somebody who wants to grow as a writer and improve, you often will need somebody to take an honest look and give you feedback and give you suggestions for improvement. That's how we grow. So I was not surprised at his sentiments. I was not surprised that he reacted the way that he did. His reaction was pretty consistent with how he has moved throughout his career. And again, he's super successful. I hope that he continues doing what works for him? Do I recommend that he grow in whatever way that he deems necessary? Absolutely. Growth is necessary. Growth is necessary. There will be a lot of writers who say otherwise, and that's okay too. But anyway, I thought that was an interesting conversation to run across this week. If you run across any news items or pieces of writing that you'd like to share, please do. I'll also, the email will be added to the description, and would love to chat about it. So for the purposes of just starting new writing, don't worry about all of the chatter for now. Okay, just choose a topic that you can talk about for a while, and choose a topic that you are familiar with, that you know about. It's just a good starting place. So take some time, jot down as much as you possibly can on the topic. Just get started. Those three things, okay? Choose a topic that you're familiar with. Choose a topic that you can write a lot about, or enough write a lot about. And then 3, just get started. Just get started. So for our writing burst today, here's what we're going to do. Your prompt, it can be anything. Your favorite hobby, your hometown, your job, something about your family. Write freely for the next 5 minutes on the topic of your choice. Write about what you know, okay? Grab a pen, paper, laptop, whatever you'd like to use to get your thoughts down. Spend the next 5 minutes writing as much as you can about one topic, the topic that you know the best, okay? Next session, we're going to dive deeper into the importance of writing about what you care about. That's next session, okay? We're going to sign off for now, but remember to like, share, and subscribe, and join our writing community. Don't forget about our Facebook group as well. That will be linked in the description as well. We share tips. We're going to connect with other writers. Let's build our community of writers. Okay, welcome and have fun. 5 minutes, write on the topic that you know. See you next time.